Yo, 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 what's going on? It's your boy David Verde, and we're tuning in for our second episode of my podcast, Pilot Season, where we do a deep dive into a pilot episode of a series that I've never seen and you've hopefully never seen before, or if you have seen it, then you can go ahead and give your thoughts on my opinion and vice versa. So today we're going to go ahead and dive straight on into it. We got Arrested Development, Season 1, Episode 1, titled Pilot. This is a comedy series. I found it on Netflix. I definitely used to see it on the guide when I was scrolling through the, just channels and stuff growing up. Once or twice, it would be like, it would pop up after another show ended or something, and then I didn't watch it, so I'd be like, I'm familiar with the idea of it, like, I know who the characters are because they're all in big stuff, but I never actually sat down and watched an episode, so that's what I did today. The show is set in Orange County, California. It lets you know that straight off the bat. Seems to be a narrator. I'm not exactly sure yet if the narrator is the main character himself or not, so I'm still trying to, get that figured out, which I'm sure I will as things go. Tobias, he's the brother-in-law of the main character, who's Michael. Michael is a huge actor. I'm blanking on his name right now. Everybody's going to be like, you're a clown, but super huge actor. He's in The Switch Up with Ryan Reynolds and Teen Wolf 2 and all kinds of stuff, but super funny guy. And then Tobias is the bad guy on Alvin and the Chipmunks. That's why I brought him up so early, because it's just immediate. I'm like, oh, there's that guy from all, it's just funny watching it, because then it's like, dang, everybody else who saw them in all these things that I saw them in later probably knew them from this. So then it's just kind of like, okay, it's like they've really been working and, putting time in their careers, where I just saw the dude on Alvin and the Chipmunks. I never saw him on this, and this is much older than that. Michael's son is Evan in the movie Superbad, and he's obviously a kid on here, so I would have never known that he was already a well-known actor, nevertheless an actor before the movie Superbad. I guess I kind of just assumed that was his breakout role. So to hop into things, it's about a son who works for a rich dad. They own a company. I think it's a company that has to do with stocks, and they get investors to spend their money with them in hopes that they will make them more money than they invested. Typical, And Michael is hoping that once his dad retires, he's going to be the one to take over the family company. And everybody in the company is kind of just taking advantage of it and spending the money on frivolous things like month-long stays at hotels and Fox coats. And he's just like, come on, guys, we need to take this serious. He's like, once I take over, things are going to be different. And his sister, I believe is his twin sister, who's married to Tobias, the guy who's on Alvin and the Chipmunks as the bad guy, they own or run an organization called Hoop, and it's hands off our penises, and they're trying to stop people from getting circumcised. Super random, right? And then, let's see, because it's just where do I go from there? Because that's so random. And then Tobias, the husband of the twin sister of the main character, he actually joins a boat of LGBTQ pirate protesters, and they're actually protesting against the yachts. And it's funny because the yacht that they're protesting against is the one that Tobias's family owns, technically, because he's married to the daughter of the, it's just super, what? Where, it's super wacky. That's the best way I could put it, but it's not wacky, this doesn't make sense. It's wacky, okay, this is just contradicting in a hilarious way. So they're on the boat. They see Tobias, and the wife of him goes, "Hey, I have that same scarf." And the mom goes, "Oh, honey, it looks way better on him." And they don't even know it's Tobias because he's like, such in the distance in a group of people. And then you just start seeing a bunch of, police boats coming up in a distance, and everyone's not really thinking much of it at first. And then the dad starts making those typical phone calls like, "All right, empty this account, shred that, keep this. Why are you crying? I'm the one who's about to go to jail." And just before he got arrested, he made sure to announce that the mom, his wife, was taking over the company, not the son. So that was like, like a huge, gas moment because everyone assumed it was going to be the son, not the mom. So then it's just like a whole fluster of emotions for everybody. Everything's moving in different directions than everybody was obviously hoping for. I'm sure you're assuming on the day your dad retires, it's going to be a joyful day and everybody's going to celebrate, not him going to prison and everybody getting detained and your yacht getting repoed, etc. So after the dad gets, arrested, they say they're putting him in prison for, like I said, spending the company money on personal stuff and lying to the investors. So Michael and his son, they plan to move to Arizona because he's like, well, we have no money. The company's pretty much screwed. I might as well go start a life for myself. These guys are all just terrible people. None of them have his best interest at heart. So he goes and I think at a real estate company or something, he finds a job and they're like, "Oh, not only will we give you a job, but we'll put you up somewhere so you have somewhere to stay." And he's like, "Cool, basement will be fine." Because his dad had him just staying in the attic of one of the houses that they owned. And the bottom of the house was like a model house, where people could just walk through it, look at it, and get an idea of what kind of house they'd be moving into in that neighborhood. So his son and him were just living in that attic of a model home for however long, I guess. So he's planning to move to Arizona. He tells his family that, and for some reason, they decide to hold an intervention. He comes to the intervention, and he's just like, "I don't drink or do drugs, essentially. What the hell is this about?" And it was really just a plot for them to be like, "Hey, you're right. We do need you." They thought they knew better, but they're like, with the dad gone and with them trying to do everything on their own without him for even the short amount of time that they were just like, it's not working out. So he was like, "No, I'm definitely leaving." But then his sister came to the model home to pretty much try to take anything that she could that she thought she could sell or thrift to make money. And when she came to the house, the nephew was packing up and she was like, "Hey," and he was like, "Hey." It was super awkward interaction because they don't really know each other. And he was like, "I'm going to miss you." And she was like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to miss you too. I'm going to come visit." And you could tell she was just capping. And he goes up to her and gives her a long hug. And he's like, "Everything's been different ever since my mom passed away." And as he said that, the dad was walking up the stairs so he could hear it. And he's like, "Hey, buddy, go downstairs and, I need some help packing up the car." And then he talked to his sister like, "I hate you pretty much, but I don't want to ruin my son's life. So I think it's best that I do stay here for a while and help you guys get the company going again and stay for the, sake of his son so the son could hang out with his cousin who's his age," which they evidently kissed. So the son was working at a frozen banana stand that the family owns in town. And the cousin was like, "I bit into one of the bananas and there was a chicken bone inside of it." And he was like, "Huh?" She was like, "I'm just kidding." He's like, "Aren't you my cousin?" It was super this part's a little, weird. And then she was like, "You know what? We should make out and then that would teach our parents a lesson." He's like, "Isn't that illegal?" And they ended up doing it and no one cared, commented, or saw it. And now they're going to be roommates moving forward. So it's that's going to be interesting. The main character, Michael, is going to be living under the same roof as his twin sister and her husband, Tobias, who I've already explained to you guys earlier. So you understand he's definitely a character. So based off of what I've seen so far, all the characters and everything, I could tell why people really like this show. I could tell why people, including myself, could get into this show. It's just like the sister, after everything that happened, she's like, yeah, now we're working on the JDL. And he's like, huh? And she's like, the Jewish Defense League. And the brother's just like, come on. Like, they keep coming up with these crazy ass acronyms for these weird ass organizations that are just super oddball. So it's definitely funny. The writers are great. The actors are great. Lots of people you're going to be like, oh, I've seen her on a movie, or that dude from Saturday Night Live, or oh, that guy. So it's like great casting. So far, great writing. From what I can tell, it was only a pilot. I'm definitely going to continue watching it. So far, so good. And I recommend you watch it too. Thanks for listening. Go ahead and, share this with a friend if you want. If you don't, that's cool too. Later.